Hi guys, here we are in Bumbleland with old mate Uncle Bumble. I have got a real doozy of a show for you today. It's a little bit topical in some ways. That is, if you used to watch Game of Thrones. We have one of the stars of Game of Thrones with us today, okay? And he's right here. Oh. I'll just wake him up. Excuse me.
Hold the door!
Yeah.
Where am I? What's happening?
You're in Bumbleland. Right.
Again?
Again. Oh, behave. Right, okay, ladies and gents. This is Sam Coleman, better known to some of you as a young Hodor from Game of Thrones. He's played so many different parts, including in Leatherface, Fist of Lead, Lords of Chaos, but also he is a local councillor for Sidley, for the Labour Party. But we don't have political stuff on here, so we just mention he's with the Labour Party. Other parties are available, especially if you book Uncle Bumble. Oh, that's the wrong type of party. Wrong type
Hey,
of party.
it's my favourite kind of party.
Yeah. Well, there we go. A kids' party with lots of cake and jelly and ice cream that you can throw at people. That's cool. Right, guys, not that we do. I must have to say that. Right, okay. Well, Sam's kindly agreed to join us this morning, and we've got a little set of questions. Yeah, take that off. It's going to be ever so
This room, quite early
hot in
on.
here anyway. Yeah, open the window to the studio. Right, okay. It may look like we're in a big studio, but believe me, it's only about 10 foot by 12 foot. Okay, it's not an amazing size. Yeah, and it's very close and intimate. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start off with asking Sam Coleman a few questions on his personal bits and pieces. I'll rephrase that. That sounds disgusting. On his personal life to a degree, okay? Only to a degree, because I don't believe we can go. You know, so what kind of toothbrush do you use?
It depends what day of the week it is.
Oh, so he's got a toothbrush for every week, every day of the week, boys and girls. So you could learn from that on a hygiene basis. Get 7 toothbrushes, okay? Now, question number 1 really, I suppose, has got to be, how and why did you get into acting?
Well, when I was very little, so we're talking like 5, 6 maybe, I was apparently quite a shy child. Hard to believe now, I know. But
It's actually the same. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, I was very shy.
it seems to happen to all of
I
the
don't know what happened.
confident people in the world. But yeah, no, my mum and mother took me to like a drama group, a local theatre acting group. And the first week I went, I cried my eyes out. I said, "Mum, I never want to go there again." The second week, I cried my eyes out. "I don't like it. It's too scary." The third week, I ran out and I said, "Mum, I love it. I want to go back. Can we go back now?" And from that moment on, I mean, I've always just done acting and theatre, and eventually I made it my job.
You just like it? Oh, that's brilliant. What was your first job? The first one? I don't know. We can do this into. What was the first thing you appeared in, and then what was your first paying job? That's a good idea, isn't it? We make 2 questions out of it. Make the shoot last longer.
Well, so I mean, if people watching are from the sort of Bexhill area, you would have seen me in a lot of local like performances and shows as I was going through school and college and things. So at Bexhill Academy, I did a few shows. I was in Oklahoma and Children of Eden and Jesus Christ Superstar, and I did some stuff at Bexhill College as well. But actually, my first professional job, my first big job, I guess, was actually the film Leatherface, which, for those of you who don't know, is a big scary horror film with lots of blood and fighting and scary stuff.
Wasn't it actually based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah, so it's actually a
Prequel to that.
to the original horror film.
I've never seen Leatherface. I've seen the recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I've not seen Leatherface. So that is now on my wish list. Boys and girls, if you're under 18, please do not watch it, okay? It is a scary thing. It's scarier than Doctor Who at its worst, okay? So please, right, appreciate it. Put it on your wish list for when you're old enough to watch these things, okay? So we got to do that because otherwise we'll be told off. The editor's slapping his head and going, oh no, what's he into now? So, but there we go. Right, okay, so that was your first job. That was 2017, wasn't it?
It came out in 2017. We filmed it in 2015, I think.
Oh,
when I was
right,
18 years old.
Because when was Game of Thrones then?
So if we filmed Game of Thrones literally a couple of months after we filmed Leatherface. But because Leatherface is a film, and big film companies tend to be quite complicated.
They back it up a bit, don't they?
We had to do some reshoots as well, so it meant Game of Thrones actually came out before Leatherface. What was funny about that was in Leatherface I had really long curly hair that I'd grown for years and years, and then in Game of Thrones they cut it off for my character, so I had hair like this. And so if you watch Game of Thrones in the Leatherface, in the order that it came out, I had really short hair, and then in Leatherface I had hair that was like down here, so people would think that my hair grew overnight.
Well, there we go. Yeah. Oh, extensions, Sam. There are that sort of things as extensions in films.
That's true.
But it was his real hair, boys and girls. Actually, that would be a brilliant quiz question. Right. Right, okay. Yeah, how did you land Game of Thrones? I mean, obviously, you said to me earlier that you weren't really a fan when you first started, but then you binged it.
Yeah, so in classic student style, I guess, 'cause I was doing my A-levels at the time, when Game of Thrones first came out, I said to myself, I'm not going to watch this show because I know I'll love it and it will distract me, and I need to revise and I need to do all my homework and I need to make sure I get good grades. And then the week before my A-level exams, when I should have been revising the hardest, of course, I went, you know what, I'm going to watch it. So I watched the whole season 1 to 5, and it was quite lucky because the next week after I sort of finished that, my agent rang me up and said, here Sam, got you an audition for Game of Thrones. And then the audition itself, the part was meant to be for a 12-year-old, and I was 18 at the time.
Yeah.
So when I turned up and there was a load of 12-year-olds with their mums and their chaperones and things, I was like, what on earth is my agent doing? This is strange, I'm 18. You know, I looked completely out of place. I thought, I'm not going to get the job. I don't look like a 12-year-old. But the casting director saw me, obviously thought I was good enough, and decided to cast me in it.
Well, I think, and please don't get me wrong with this, okay, I think it might be because of they needed someone, because Hodor's big.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they needed someone who was probably bigger than most of the 12-year-olds.
Well, that was the thing.
I think that's, you know, I mean, look at how old was Michael J. Fox when he played Martin McFly. How old was the guy who played the Karate Kid?
Yeah.
He was in his 20s and he was only meant to be about 15, wasn't he?
Yeah, and of course,
or 16.
Being 18 meant that they didn't have to pay extra money and
for the
child
chaperones
licensing fees and everything. So it was a good save on their part. But absolutely, as you say, because I played the younger version of a giant, essentially.
Yeah.
It needed to be a giant as a young person as well. So into me.
No, well, that's to your favour, mate. I'll tell to your favour, absolutely. Were you excited though?
I was absolutely buzzing. Getting it as well, nervous.
Yeah.
Because Game of Thrones, for those of you who don't know the show, it's a huge show. Everyone knows about it. Everyone watches it.
Except for those that don't know about it, of course.
Apart from those
who just said that.
But I think it was like the number one TV show in America, the highest grossing, highest most watched show at the time, and so to even be a small part in that was just like, I mean, you know, I was expecting to go to university and study and work my way up to becoming a professional actor, and then suddenly here I am on set of Game of Thrones. So yeah, amazing.
Did you sort of make any friends of some of the major cast members?
I did, and certainly those people who were in my scenes with me, we spent, because on film sets you spend quite a lot of time sitting waiting to do your bit, and so you end up chatting to all sorts of people. I did meet some of the other big cast as well. On my first day in Belfast, I sat next to Kit Harington to get my hair cut.
Oh wow!
And I mean, he smells great. He looks great. You just go like.
Well, he's a big star, isn't he, Kit
Absolutely.
Harington? Yeah. I watched something with him the other day. I can't remember what it was. The Eternals.
No, yeah.
He's in the Eternals, yeah, and it's really good. And it starts off like a small part, but I think in the next films, if the films continue, it's going to be a much bigger part for Kit Harington. Yeah, I like Rory McCann.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
I didn't get to meet him. But
It's such a shame because I like that guy. I've followed him since the Scotch porridge oats adverts.
Yeah, he strikes me because obviously you do a lot of medieval reenactment stuff,
Yeah.
and he strikes me as the kind of guy that you'd see wandering around Hurstman Zoo or something.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't do a lot of. I've only started in the past couple of years, haven't I? And Connor's the one that got me into that. The Hurstman Zoo stuff we got into. And unfortunately, guys, it looks like that might not be going on. We hope it does. So what you need to do, guys, if you're a fan of the Britons.
No.
No! Oh God, we're doing it again.
So I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, go on then.
It's England's Medieval Festival at Hurstman Zoo Castle.
England's Medieval Festival at Hurstman Zoo Castle. That gets me every time, so it really knocks me for six. Anyone that's been watching the videos knows that Bumble will screw that up every time you give it. England's Medieval Festival at Hurstman Zoo Castle, and he will keep it in because he punishes me.
Well,
Right, that's what he does.
you have to learn one day. One day.
Right, England's Medieval England's Medieval Festival at Hurstman Zoo Castle may not be going ahead this year because the organisers say that it's too much disruption to the wildlife, etc.
Well, the castle owner says it.
And the castle owner says it. So it's his opinion, and if that is true, yeah, that's fine. But please, if you're watching, mate, let them do it. It's good. You'll make money. You always do. Just get on with it. Yeah. Yeah.
And people like us want to dress up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
The festival would be 30 this year, and I'm 30 this year,
Yeah,
so I was going to spend my 30th there.
Yeah. The festival would have been 30 this year. Okay. And my editor, Connor, would have been 30. He's 30. Would have been 30. He's going to be 30.
Would have been 30.
He's going to be 30.
He's now
this year.
74.
He's decided not to have his 30th birthday because of you. No, he's going to have his 30th birthday. So please, we want to make it a good weekend for him. So just do it just for him. Okay? Otherwise, he's going to cry and be upset, and we won't have anywhere to go. And that's so sad, son.
Yeah.
But it's just so sad.
Oh, don't cry, Mr. Bumble.
No, that's all right. That's okay. No, get out of it. No, snap out of it. Ow. Right. Okay, guys. So, what else was I going to say? Yes. Who's your favourite character in Game of Thrones?
Oh, who's my favourite character in Game
Young
of Thrones?
Hodor.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anyone else? You know. No, I think probably the character Tyrion Lannister, played by Peter Dinklage. He's funny, he's witty.
He's funny, he's witty.
He gets all the joke bits and all the lines.
What about Dany?
Daenerys Targaryen's a cool character.
Yeah. Did you meet her?
I didn't meet Emilia Clarke, no.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
no.
because where I was filming is the cold places in Game of Thrones in Westeros, and she films a lot in the hot places in Westeros. And so she's over in Spain and Portugal and places like that.
And you're in Belfast.
I'm in Northern Ireland, which is Belfast is lovely, but it don't half rain.
Ireland is great. It's a lovely country. But I'll tell you what, if I had a choice to do a shoot in Spain or Ireland, I know where I'd go, I think. Yeah. Bognor. Yeah, that's very random, isn't it? Right, okay, Sam. Now, we've already mentioned that Sam is a local councillor. So I want to know what made you want to do that, and what your favourite thing about it is.
Oh, interesting. So, being a local councillor is the main things you do are, number one, you sort of represent people in your area, in your village, and you help connect them with the council and the council with them, and foster that bond. You get to bring forward projects and help local groups, support local groups to bring forward things in your community and solve problems, solve things that are going on. And I think having been through nearly being homeless, being on the sort of council's housing waiting list, being a carer for sort of 2 disabled family members, having experienced poverty and seeing my neighbours experiencing quite a lot of hardship and poverty and struggling to pay the bills. And
I've got to be honest with you, please forgive me for butting in, but Sam actually helped me when my wife passed 2.5 years ago, or 3 years ago this year. Sam actually helped me through for a problem. He wrote letters and he was on my side. So I've got to say, this guy is absolutely brilliant. Great respect for you, obviously, you know that. But yeah, and to me, that's what would make my life, knowing that I'm helping people.
Well, that's the thing is, it's you know, when you see a lot of people like that, and you think, what can I do? What can I do to help? And actually, there was no one else sort of standing to represent the village that I could see. Obviously, we have Councillor Carol, who's local greengrocer, but you need someone else. There's 2 councillors in Sidley, and I thought, well, I can give it a go. I care about people. I have ideas. I want to help people, and yeah, absolutely, the best part of the job has been that being able to help people, being able to.
I should imagine it's a result. It's a result. When you get a really good result, that to me, it's like when I've been entertaining in the past, and then you get a kid come up to you and just smile at you and say, that was the best party I've been to. It's you reap what you sow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you put good stuff in, you're gonna get the satisfaction. When I say get good stuff back, I don't mean physical stuff. I mean the well-being stuff, which helps you and your mental health as well. Because
absolutely.
I know you've suffered a little bit with that in the past, and
absolutely.
I mean I have as well, and my son does. And it's a big thing when you help people and you get it back. That helps you as a person develop and gives you an enormous sense of well-being. Yeah, like feeding the pigeons.
Absolutely. Being a councillor it's all about solving problems and
Park life.
Reference went straight over my head there. Park life. But no, it is. Because there's lots of problems that you can't solve. There's lots of things ongoing that you're sort of like, I just want to solve this problem. I can't because either it's a different council or the government need to do something or whatever. But when you do get that result, like for example, like building a skate park in Sidley, the fact that that's being built now and is going to be open soon. Just being able to walk past it and say, I had a hand.
You had a hand in doing it. You had a hand in getting the clearance to actually do that constructive thing.
It is great to see.
And it's going to help a lot of young people because everyone always says, oh, why are they all doing disruptive things? Why are they not? Because there's nothing to do. I'm sorry, but there is a lot to do in Sidley if you look for it. I mean, during the half term, the Heart Sidley always do something.
Oh, they do so much.
And they do an awful lot. It's another organisation that I personally help.
It's good now, but when I was a kid, there was nothing.
But there was that youth club. That
wasn't the best of places
to go.
The
best of places.
Yeah, and it tends to go like sometimes there's lots of things when there's like hardship or there's austerity or things like that. Suddenly all these clubs can't function anymore or things disappear, and it's just about rebuilding those connections. But that's one of the reasons I stood actually as well. Being 25 and I was I think 21 at the time when I stood. Most councillors are
older. They're in their late 30s, early 40s.
Well, I think most of them, to be diplomatic, are sort of 50 plus as well. A lot of them are retirees. Because that's when you tend to do that sort of thing, when you're retired and you think you're going to help your community.
But I think it's important. What you've done is you put a young aspect to it.
Absolutely.
I mean, the young people weren't getting their fair shake. They weren't actually getting their views across. And with someone like yourself, who is a young person, not like an old git like me, a young person who's got, no I didn't. Oh, sorry, young at heart. Sorry, I thought you said, no. No, see, this is the problem. When we're in Bumbleland, anything happens and my mind just wanders and then eventually I'll get back to the subject. So having a young person like you, let's forget that's boring stuff.
We did really well at talking seriously for a moment.
And that's it now. That is a serious bit over. Okay, I'm going to throw 2 things at you. You're going to give me the best one back. Okay, Vikings or Saxons?
Oh, Saxons. No, Vikings.
I have to take your first answer.
No, because that's rooted in years of false identities, sort of English nationalism. No. Vikings for sure. They are badass.
Mead or ale? Yeah, you said ass, not yeah.
Ale for sure.
Ale. Yeah, I agree. Sci-fi or fact?
Do you love a good fact? Sci-fi.
Last one. Gummy bears or gummy eggs?
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears, right? Okay. Some random good answers though. Good answers. That was probably the worst bit of the whole thing for you, but I've got one more.
There we go.
If you had a superpower, would it be mind reading or invisibility?
Ooh, that's tough. I think I would want it to be mind reading because it would be great to know what people are thinking, to be able to help people better, to be able to understand, connect with people. Although it would get a bit scary at times, I guess, because no secrets. But actually, I think I would probably develop invisibility because I do suffer from anxiety and things. And I like my own personal space and that.
Yeah,
The ability not to be seen.
But
Despite
then
being an
again,
actor, which is weird.
you can be invisible. You just sink back into the background.
Well,
I mean, the trouble is, being an actor, you can be at the front as whoever you want to be.
yeah.
You can be whoever you want to be. When they say in life you can be whatever you want to be, become an actor. Then you can, or like me. I mean, I started off as a kids entertainer. I actually started off as a kissogram going back years ago.
Oh.
And then I started off as a children's entertainer. I did a lot of drama and that at school. And then I sort of developed into this, and then I've been a DJ, I compare, I do all sorts of rubbish. I do whatever I can, but as you know, I do try and do a lot now for the community.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, I mentioned at the New Inn on the 7th of May, we are doing a benefit for the Ukraine.
Amazing.
And I am going to be getting my back and front wax if we get enough money. So if you want to help me promote that and get sponsors in, we're
get
going
that
to do
money
that.
in.
They did want me to do the rude bits, and I said no because I couldn't upset you guys on Bumbleland. It wouldn't be good. We would have to put too much censoring stuff in, and we're not about censoring, are we here? No, we're not. So so what one was it? Mind reading or invisibility?
I'm going to put mind reading. Cool.
I wouldn't mind mind reading.
You wouldn't mind mind reading?
I wouldn't mind mind reading.
I would mind that you wouldn't mind reading.
You would mind. I wouldn't mind minding that. I minded that you met. Yeah,
mind you, I would mind if you didn't mind reading.
It's a bit like a minefield of mind reading. Yeah, I wouldn't mind reading if it was selective. Whose mind? I wouldn't want it. Could you imagine? You go out and then everybody sorts bombard you. It would drive you crazy. You wouldn't know what you were doing.
You'd be hearing people going, "Oh, it's Bumble."
And then you go. Sam, what I'm going to ask you now, and this is really, it's a crux of a question. And it's not much fun, it's not deep joy, okay? But you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was governor, and then you've got Clint Eastwood, who's governor, Kane, Ben Jacobs, a governor, and they've all got their eye on getting further up the ladder. Would you want to be Prime Minister?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's a good answer, actually. I wouldn't either.
You know, there is a nightmare scenario that often pops in my head where I end up being forced into being a Prime Minister just because I feel like there's no one else who can do it well.
No, what was that programme? Oh, God, Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
With Keith Sutherland. Brilliant. Go and watch it if you haven't, for the older people.
No,
if you're younger, don't.
But being Prime Minister, I mean, the amount of responsibility you have, first of all, the fact that you have people whose job it is to pull you down and find things you do wrong, just the amount of pressure of looking after a whole country of people, it's too much stress for me. Being a councillor is great.
I mean, that's why I've got to say, all right, love him or hate him, I think Boris Johnson has done a pretty good job of dealing with it, because he's thrown everything that's thrown at him, he deals with.
Well, I think he's done better than people thought he would.
Yeah.
Based on his record as mayor, that's what I will say.
Yeah. I suppose so. Yeah. I suppose there is that. But I'm just looking at what people have thrown at him about personal life and stuff like that, and he still bounces back. He doesn't care. He just does it.
Although one of the things, of course, you know, when you've been to private school and you've had all of that posh education and stuff, it does help you to deal with that sort of thing. Whereas this is why there's not so many working class people in Parliament.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, okay, guys. Well, look, we're going to wrap up now because we've got to get on with our next video shoot after this because we've got a Game of Thrones quiz in which we get to use the buzzer. Thank you, Sam. And also, we've got the headphones thing, haven't we? What is it?
Hearing things.
Hearing things. I don't know what it entails yet, but no doubt I will know by the next shoot. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I am going to say the usual. So, okay, please don't forget to like, slap that like, subscribe over top of Sam's head, ring that bell. Well done. They'd kill you for that. You have to put a bell in every bit.
Lightning strike.
Yeah, put that in as well. I know, Connor. And then you can also find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or standing on the corner of the local newsagents waiting for the Friday ad.
Chicken a finger.
So, okay. Until next time, guys, be good, be safe, see ya, and say goodbye, Sam.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And my next guest has just got a job at DreamWorks. Oh, sorry, Dreamland.